Welcome to 709 Meridian, an audio commentary podcast. I'm Andrew,
And this is D.
and we are back with our. Well, we came up with this pretty soon after we stopped recording last episode, but we didn't quite know what we were doing. But we have committed to a watch through of the 2018 DC Universe series, Titans.
The Titans.
Which I have only seen whatever episode you showed me, Jason Todd, and some of another one.
Yeah.
So I am going into this incredibly cold. But you haven't seen Doom Patrol, so I've seen Doom
Well, I
Patrol.
haven't seen Doom Patrol.
Though that they are,
yeah, they appear here.
they appear, but in a different universe. So
Yeah.
we're already breaking James Gunn's rules. Okay. I'm sure we'll get to talk about that sometime. So we're just doing Titans. Cool. We'll have lots to say, I'm sure.
Hello, dear listeners, watchers, and readers. It is I, your faithful narrator. I'm just here to mention that as you hear this intro, Dee and Andrew seem to have totally forgotten to mention they're watching the first 2 episodes of Titans, but they are in fact watching the first 2 episodes of Titans. It's not like they decided right after the first one and dug out their Columbia House VHS tape for episode 2 and had to rewind it before they were able to start recording. Nothing like that at all. And now, back to the show, already in progress.
As we dig in,
Now, it wasn't a horrible show. It just was unfocused, I would say.
and this is the show that I firmly did not believe was real until, I mean, really until you showed me it. Because I'm just like, they made a Titan show? Really? I
Yeah.
had the same sensation with Doom Patrol, and I am a big Doom Patrol fan now, but it's just a very weird thing. And we'll talk about the history of this, that like, yeah, DC was going to be a streaming upstart for a second.
Yeah, it just, it's got some good performances, and the storylines aren't horrible. It's just, yeah, we'll weave through it. Right.
Also, a little bit of housekeeping. We do have a Tumblr now. I have no idea what we're going to be doing with it, but there is a Tumblr. So you can go there and watch outros. That's all I've posted so far is a couple of outros, because it took a long time to figure out how to upload 3 minutes of video to Tumblr. But there will be crap on there. So we're hoping to be able to do some cool stuff with this, because we're doing our who's who in the DC universe homework in conjunction with the utterly pointless, since some of this is not going to be the same characters, even though they have the same names, though that is how DC works. And we'll talk about it, but the Acolyte, the villain of this episode, I believe, does not have a who's who entry, because somehow DC dropped the ball on who's who. But that'll be the other thing we talk about quite a bit. DC dropping the ball.
Yeah, habitually.
It's just all they do, really. Dropping the ball since like 19. I mean, we'll have plenty of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is just when Jeanette Kahn left. Like, they just fucking just like, boop.
Well, there's a point where he just had reboot fever,
They had reboot fever. We'll talk about it as the references come up, because I'm sure there will be at least one reference that we can make to whatever the fuck they tried doing in the 90s with 0 Hour and Day of Judgment and
yeah, all
just
those,
like
they were just crossover happy at some point.
Fever, the fever dreams of crossovers. Like okay. All right. So, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
And here we go with Titans episode 1. Titans, starting in 3, 2, 1, play. All right. So DC Universe was like, what did they have? They had Titans, they had Doom Patrol, they had to wait for Swamp Thing, they had Harley Quinn, and they had the shows, right? Wonder Woman and The Flash, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing is that visually speaking, the most influential DC thing in the last, whatever, 15 years has been a combination of like the Arkham games and
Oh yeah.
what else? Injustice, right? Like,
Yeah, for some reason they kept wanting to push Injustice, and I guess it's because people were reading the comic but they always complain the art sucked. So it's really weird.
I mean, modern art and comics, lots of it sucks. So,
Yeah. And with there's another one. The animated movie sucked. So
okay,
yeah,
so now
here
this
we
is
have young
also
Raven here.
flashing back to Dick's origin story. What's interesting about this is we've never had Nightwing. This is our first Nightwing on screen, right? Like
Yeah.
there were some weird rumors about a Nightwing movie
Huh.
during the HBO when AT&T took over HBO. That's the other thing about the DC about Titans and Doom Patrol. They survived like three different corporate owners.
Mm.
So they started in the DC Universe era, then they got moved over to HBO Max, which is after AT&T bought it out, but they managed to survive to the Max era, but that's probably only because they'd been renewed and were filming.
Uh,
But so we have this, which we have not seen since Batman Forever.
right. Where mysteriously Grayson had a brother.
That is a wig on Sherilyn Fenn there. Um,
Raven's not bad. It's just I think I'm more used to the original version in the
mm,
comic, who was she was a troubled young lady, but she just was emotionally cold, like almost like Spock, or the
right.
Vulcan or something. And
Where
at this point, she's just a goth, a
right,
goth
she's
kid.
what's her face from what's that
Mm,
X-Men movie? She's
Kitty.
Anna Paquin,
Oh,
basically. Yeah.
Rogue.
Well, no, I mean she's not, but she sort of is.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
yeah.
I never got used to these. Like, I guess on the Titans cartoon, they had her somewhat like the original version, but even that one was, had evolved sort of.
Um
Oh, and here we go.
Maybe you shouldn't have hooked up with a demon then, Sherilyn Fenn. Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, this one's a doozy. That's white.
Okay.
Mexican.
So is Dick
Yeah, this is Detective Dick Grayson.
Private Eye Dick Grayson or Cop
Oh,
Dick
he's a
Grayson?
cap. He's a cop.
which is actually based on the comics. Eventually, Dick Grayson becomes a cop in
Yeah,
the
he becomes a cop.
comics, which aged poorly. uh, but yeah, there's a Nightwing joke in Batman and Robin, but other than that, like they'd never really acknowledged.
Oh wow. This is Brenton Thwaites. I think the only other thing I've seen him in was that last Pirates movie.
Hmm.
He's not bad.
And then who's Black Captain?
It's not Morris
Um,
Chestnut.
no. Little lawyer girls on All Rise. Oh, little partner girl is a lawyer on All Rise.
Mm.
This is pretty intense for her. I think other than this, she does Hallmark movies.
Mm.
Okay, so this is given major like Mindhunter vibes. Have you watched that yet on the serial killer show?
No,
You got to
I don't
watch
think
that.
so.
You got to
Yeah.
watch that. It's Fincher. You got to
Oh,
watch it. Yeah. Like the second season is the first season's great. The second season's a little rocky, but then like the last two episodes are like fucking great serial killer movie shit. Okay, so are we to think Raven does that to mom? But it's not mom, it's mom's satanic
yeah. You'll see it. Like this is yeah. This is how hard the show goes.
I mean, yeah, that was the thing is it's like Titans at its most popular height. Well, Titans was actually very popular for quite a while, right? Like Titans was so popular it had two oh, what
Huh?
was that? I just saw some dead eyes on girl here.
Yeah.
Um but Titans was so popular in like 84, 85, it sustained two series at once. Titans was the series that crossed over with X-Men, which was at that time the big Marvel one. So Titans was
Yeah,
more
that was the big
popular.
competition back
Yeah,
then.
Titans was more popular than uh-oh. Titans was more popular than like Justice League for sure, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And it like
Oh yeah.
it maintained into the 90s. Like it had its ups and downs, but it always had like they were always willing to throw some weight behind the Titans until mm, I'd say the mid aughts. Um,
Actually, Titans, they killed Titans. Not DC per se, but
mm,
like later in the run, there was a mm, there was a long storyline called the Titans Hunt,
that's right.
where during the anniversary of it was basically a revamp of the book itself, and it just led to another revamp, which led to yet another revamp, and it none of it went well. Like there was the post Titans Hunt team, and then there was Arsenal's team after that, and
Yeah.
that's what basically killed the
And
book.
Arsenal's not in this, right?
No,
Okay.
he has
Um,
a they name drop him.
Okay.
They name dropped Roy Harper at one point.
So that boy defended her, but he doesn't want to say hi to her in the hall. That's very sad. Um, Arsenal, well, at least Roy Harper would show up for a bit on Arrow and then quizzically disappear for like the combination of he was much better acting than Stephen Amell, and also he was gay, and there's the major implication Stephen Amell is just a huge piece of shit. So, okay. Um, but that might explain why he wasn't available for this as well.
Mm.
That woman's not her mother?
Exactly. Yeah, this is all her life's been bullshit. And yep,
Oh,
right.
but yes, so this is not, I mean, Titans was like a superhero book, right? Like this is
Yeah.
very
Yeah, this is a little too
this is the
like
Riverdale of Titans, right?
yeah,
Like,
this is way too on one side.
and the reason one of I don't know, but one of the things you can do if you turn it into this Dick Grayson's after a child predator and Ravens on the run in a horror movie, you can do that a lot cheaper, right? Like
Mm.
it's not because that's the thing about the Arrow verse shows on the CW is like they quickly lost their like budget, but they really just like leaned into the sort of colorful capes aspect of some of it in some shows. Um, but that doesn't really work when you're trying to look not look like you're a cheap CW show. Like,
All right, here we go. We're revving up for the first big action sequence here.
oh, are we revving up to fuck Batman? Is that what we're getting to?
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right.
Whoa. See, that shit works. I like that
That's
though.
kind of funny. Yeah. So he's still Robin at this point. So we're getting the
Right.
full Nightwing. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The ascension to Nightwing, basically.
Okay.
Now, as planned initially, he was supposed to be Nightwing by the end of the first season.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. We don't get Nightwing till the end of season 2.
Wow. Okay. So yes,
Yeah.
this is another weird thing about these shows is their first season, something happened with their first and like second seasons where their orders got fucked up. Like same thing happened to Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
That might have had to do with the AT&T purchase or something. I can't remember. But
Yeah,
like it,
because this did start on DC Universe,
yeah.
and then
And I mean, I'm pretty sure that would have punctured.
No, here it comes.
Yeah. Um, did this go on long enough that they would have thought to show him putting on the face makeup or no?
I think this is one of those where it just appears and disappears.
Okay.
Or, I don't know. Maybe it's been a minute since I've seen it. It's one of those things where you remember it and then certain episodes blend together.
No.
Because the only episode I watch over and over again is the Jason Todd one. Because that kid, he's really good in this. Until the season where he becomes Red Hood, and then that's just like what the
I was actually wondering about the music. I was like, is this gonna because Doom Patrol and some of Swamp Thing had like Warner Brothers catalog music out of nowhere, but
yeah.
I guess we're not getting that here. Who's what's her face? The shortest girl, lady, woman. She looks very familiar. Like she was on some show I just watched.
I think a lot of these are Canadian actors
Yeah.
because I don't think they did anything in the States.
Vancouver, baby.
It's Robin kicking ass.
What's he doing in Detroit?
Okay, so here we have kind of established that Raven, little Rachel here, has a visions of Dick Grayson, so she's being drawn toward him because I guess danger is afoot.
Mm. And yes, and she saw his origin for us at the beginning.
Yeah. Cecily Tyson, stunt woman.
But I mean, Sabrina was also really dark, right? Like, so this idea of the dark teen show has been. There's
Yeah,
been other stuff, right? Like Umbrella Academy. Are they teenagers? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but
I don't know. But this, people were already predisposed to just hating on this shit from the start. But the problem is, it was never going to be like the cartoon.
yes, and that's something. So there was so in the comics, one of the things that sort of cost Titans its luster, not luster, but like DC's luster was Young Justice sort of became their
Okay,
young group.
and that's something. Another element of this show is that the later seasons kind of become more like Young Justice, which in itself was basically the Titans. I guess they couldn't call it the Titans because that's basically what Young Justice ended up being. I think the Titans title was probably because the other cartoon was so popular,
Hmm. And
so heavily stuck to that, you know.
and yeah, so there was Teen Titans Go was one of them, which is
Yeah,
is that the most popular one?
the
But yeah,
original was popular,
yeah.
was most popular, but for some reason, Teen Titans Go just still keeps going, even though people claim to hate it.
But that was the one they like brought back for another season and shit, right? Like, so there is
Yeah.
a real, yeah.
So each version, it's really different. Like from, but this, yeah, it definitely becomes more like Young Justice, I would say, around the time Superboy gets introduced.
Okay. But this has also been the thing that DC hasn't been able to like figure out is like the reason DC is dark is because of Batman, right? Like the
Right.
Flash 90 was dark because of Batman.
Even
Arrow,
Superboy back
right.
then, they did a lot of noirish, a lot of shit took place at night. So yeah, Burton's Batman was a big influence. Plus, that character in general, just sort of, it was
We're
a dark
also
time for comics.
Yeah, we're also just going to acknowledge that the reason Titans got a lot of hate was because she's black. So
Yeah, this was probably one of the earliest,
in the
you
comic
know,
books, Starfire is orange and 6'4". Somebody
yeah.
read their Who's Who. In the New 52, it she became a touchy subject because
Yeah, they called her a space hippie.
it wasn't even. I mean, I don't know if you read Red Hood and Arsenal, but like all she did was have like sex with them, and people commented on it, and it that was one of your first
Oh wow.
signs that things were wrong in comic fandom. But then, yes, once she was a black woman in this, it was big, big upset. Like,
Yeah,
why
everybody
isn't
was in
she?
such a tizzy.
Why isn't
But
it Zoe Salandra orange body paint? That's acceptable.
although she does do well in this, she's one of the better actors. They give
But
her a lot to do. It's just, that whole I wouldn't want her to be white though. You
no,
know what I'm saying? Like even in the comics, Starfire does not look like a
no,
Caucasian woman painted orange.
no.
She
And
looks ethnic.
she doesn't even. I mean, she looks more than ethnic. She looks somewhat alien, right? Like, so if they really
Yeah,
wanted to do
initially, when
this,
they
yeah,
drew her, the eyes, she didn't
yeah,
even have, irises or pupils.
they
But
should.
now certain artists draw her like that, which takes
Okay.
away the alienness, about her. Now here, that probably wouldn't work. It would probably be too much, you know, money for special effects to have her
I
eyes
mean,
glossed over like
yeah.
but I
And so
kind of think of her more as like Storm, you know, in this. She's really good.
but she apparently has no memory of.
Right. She
Okay.
somehow lost her memory of what the hell she's supposed to be doing. Ana Diop.
So this is, yeah, and I mean what we're getting now is just this very like mixed, like various genres sort of thrown together, and
Yeah.
so
Okay, so she's trying to get back to, again, whatever the hell it is she's supposed to be doing, and whoever she is. Corey Anders.
I mean it's very obviously Kermit. Like
Oh,
okay, what
yeah.
the fuck's going on? Well, wasn't this also like not? This is not aimed at like a tween audience either. Like,
No. And I don't know if anybody would be expecting that either. Like,
well, yeah, because DC Universe was, when you think about it, Harley Quinn is, if not R NC-17, it's an R-rated cartoon.
mm,
Um, Doom Patrol is, Swamp Thing. Those weren't like, I would say your target was more the Sabrina audience, even more than
yeah.
your Riverdale. Like you weren't thinking about people happening across this on the CW. Ew, my boyfriend seems inappropriately aged and he's kind of slimy looking. But I really liked Sprockets as a kid, so I dated him. Oh shit, is he in the closet just like in pieces?
Watch this.
Okay,
Yeah, I
like,
really, man, it must have been a long time since I've seen this because I only remember some of it. Okay, here we go.
so it's
They're
all
after a
connected.
girl. Yeah, it's all connected.
Now, also in the comics, Corey Starfire has laser like powers and shit. Like, so she would not be hand to handing.
Well, she
I
can
mean,
fight.
she can fight because she is
Yeah,
a warrior
she's a
princess,
warrior princess.
but she's a warrior princess who has like you know laser powers, a la Captain Marvel. That's kind of the thing that comic book movies haven't really acknowledged yet, is that at a certain point all of the heroes created after like 1969 basically just shoot lasers out of their hands for 15 years, or they're terrible
Yeah,
Batman villains.
weird space
Yeah,
heroes.
the space shit, like we've always been promised somebody's gonna do this space shit, but there's not. We've never had it. Like they didn't do the space shit in Phoenix or whatever, that the last
Oh, the X-Men.
X-Men.
Oh my god. Oh no. They go in space in that.
But they don't do the space shit, right? Like after they promised Jessica Chastain as Shirar or whatever. And then Secret Invasion, which we were talking about before the show.
Yeah,
Like
that's completely Earthbound. That show, which again, uh,
yeah.
disappointment. It was a letdown.
Oh God, it's one of those shows where they shoot on half of this frame for some of it though. Okay.
I think the best course of action was to try to lean more towards the Wolfman Perez shit instead of making it a mishmash of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what DC's problem has been, and that's been what Marvel's hasn't at its best. Marvel will just fucking say, yeah, we're going to ignore 50 years of Captain America and just do this one fucking thing from 10 years ago or something like that. They don't fuck around with it. They don't worry about incorporating the mythos. And that was different for DC at the beginning because Superman and Batman were TV adaptations to some degree, right? Like these were 50-year-old brands and shit.
Yeah.
So it was a very different thing with those two. And then with Flash sort of going, okay, um it's all going to be dark heroes. It's all going to be Danny DeVito or Danny Elfman music. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was where that was sort of decided. And it didn't have to be that way. Something that
This show just kind of these first few episodes, they establish a sort of universe here that's supposedly grounded, but superheroes exist in this world. So
mm,
it's like, how do you try to go gritty real
right.
when later on we find out that Superman exists in this universe, you know? I think that's why it kind of shifted later on. Because, like I said, somebody must have thought this was going too hard, so they had to change it.
Well, this is we will find out in the end credits, written and created by Mr. Akiva Goldsman,
Mm,
hack extraordinaire behind Batman and Robin, and who now is he's responsible for Picard and some terrible shit. So, okay, is Blondie gonna end up being a villain at some point, or is she gonna be somebody, or is she just gonna end up in a
stay tuned.
refrigerator? Okay. Is he talking about Batman? And then, I mean, so some of this also is paying the
Mm,
just the DC's inability or Warner Brothers' inability to figure out how to have Batman be Tony Stark, right? Like,
mhm.
which started
Oh,
years
dude,
before this, even.
wait, wait till they introduce our Batman into this show. Like, mm,
But remember when Birds of Prey, they had Batman and the Joker in
Right.
like soft
Now, see,
focus.
but the thing of it is, at least you got to see something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wait till our Batman shows up. That's all I
Okay.
gotta say. I think the most you see of him is in one episode, and it's a dream sequence. Joker shows
Wait,
up too.
where'd she go? That seems concerning. Why isn't there she is.
Hmm.
Well, so is Brother Blood gonna be in this?
Oh shit. Um, Brother Blood was brought in the last season.
Okay. Because Brother Blood is in Arrow.
Hmm.
Right when I could not stomach Arrow anymore. I think it's probably because I wasn't drinking as much. It was just as Brother Blood got introduced.
Now, there's been different iterations of the character, but yeah, the original first showed up in Titans, or the New Teen Titans, and there's over the years been like different versions of Brother Blood.
Okay.
Like, he's never really been consistent as far as being the same guy.
Um, we were watching what is it? 10 Things I Hate About You. And in the end credits, they have the outtake scene from the prom or whatever. And I guess it hadn't occurred to me that when people are shooting those scenes, there's no music in the background and they're not
Hmm.
allowed to talk because nobody wants to pay them real
Right.
money. So they just are standing there like shuffling around in silence, and it's fucking hilarious. All right. So here is her Eastern European crime boss. Oh no, they're in Austria.
Okay, it's about to go down.
Okay. Come
Yeah,
on.
this whole bit is just kind of tensionless because
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
a little funny.
And she's really good.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So this is the most Starfire we'll probably see of Starfire so far. And yep, just like the comics. But that just wasn't good enough for some fans.
I
I don't know if anybody. I don't know if you can hear the shit, but god damn it, somebody is playing this lousy ass video game sounding music next door. Starting to fuck with my buzz.
Are you sure it's not the music? Oh, I was wondering if they were gonna crumble.
And the broad
So,
is being so obnoxious with this shit.
um, so this entire movie takes place in the neighborhood of Metropolis, where the fight is at the end of Batman versus Superman,
Right. The
where there
dilapidated.
where there are absolutely no potential casualties because
Yeah, it's
somebody would
just
say
depleted.
mean things about them or something. Well, when I watched The Matrix 2 and 3, I'd forgotten about that. I forgot that Matrix 2 and 3 got neutered because of Columbine.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
They,
those came out way later.
nope. Nope.
Yeah, they did.
They came at
Because
2 and 3 were
the first one was 99. And 2 and 3 was like '04, or
it
like
was
at least
'02.
'02.
It was '02.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
worked on them and it all got cut because of Columbine happened right after Matrix 1. The
Mm.
trench coats are gone, all the guns are
Oh,
gone.
that's right.
They're
Yeah.
not killing regular people anymore, only the machines. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Acolyte, who is a young Justice villain who has not had. Um, if he's had a Who's Who entry, I was not able to find it, so I don't know. I thought reading up in the Who's Who's was gonna maybe if they do they introduce Jericho, maybe by the time we get to Jericho, the Who's Who's will come in handy.
Yeah, Jericho's coming.
Okay. Now, do they make a RoboCop reference? That's what I want to know. I think DC is about the only company that's never put out a RoboCop comic.
That would be kind of cool to have a crossover with Cyborg,
Mm,
though,
right?
because Cyborg just kind of they kept trying to push him, but he works better in team books that aren't the Justice League, of course.
Right.
So yeah, we have fanatic number one here.
He's a member of the cult of Thorn or something.
Yeah, I think he's a Trigonite. Trigon.
Uh-oh. The demon can't help her out of this situation, though.
Well,
Okay. All right. All right.
see, that's the thing about this show. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk.
I was gonna say. It's just that everybody hulks out in a different way. Like,
Right. Everybody like sort of has their moment to.
Rachel, don't eat his soul. Rachel, no soul eating.
Soul Taker. Ah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, this is just
Like, I can kind of see why people were like,
yeah.
I really like that Teen Titans Go show. What's this all about?
This is just horror visuals and
Right. Like, oh, I'm still tied up. I had nothing to do with that. He just all of a sudden started puking out his intestines. It was weird.
Officer Grayson, you found me.
I don't know.
Do you see what you just did?
Batman said not to trust people who make people puke out their intestines, but fuck Batman.
Yeah, fuck Batman.
Is there a Robin cave?
Not really.
Okay.
There's just various residences they establish in one episode that Bruce Wayne has spots, but
Okay.
Grayson's been on his own for a while. Like this is after the split, but he's still robining all over the place in
Right.
secret.
Yeah, we saw Aliens too, Akiva Goldsman.
Oh, here we go. About to
Beast
be
Boy.
right.
Okay.
Wait till you see the amazing special effects with this one.
Ooh. Stealing the PS4 games. Garfield Logan. That's not good.
Note the background, the visuals are green.
Mm-hmm.
And look up, lo and behold, a green
Is that
tiger.
that's supposed to be green? Okay,
Right.
sure, I guess.
It looks more like his flashlight is making it.
Yeah, I know. Yes, if you take out all of the other color in the frame and then lightly tint something green, I guess technically that does make it green. Oh, we're getting a full transformation and not just okay. Does that hurt? Every time.
Not for nothing, he's pretty good too.
Okay.
So they kind of forget about him at some point, but he's really good. He's the guy I hope if they actually do live action, what you call it, uh, Invincible.
Okay.
He's got my vote.
Okay, yes. So this was also when Jeff Johns was involved in this stuff. Jeff Johns is still working at DC, but he has lost some of his luster when it became clear that he didn't not enable what's old boy's name? Joss Whedon's racism
Oh god.
towards Cyborg. It does seem like Jeff Johns was complicit. So
Yeah.
his name does not come up a lot. That Liza Colin Zayas, I think, is who I'm thinking of. Okay, the music is by the Doom Patrol guys, and I love the Doom Patrol guys' music. So at some point, hopefully, we'll get some of that great Doom Patrol music.
Yeah.
No, okay. We aren't. Okay.
Honestly, the only good theme on here is the Superboy theme, and that's actually done by they use the original theme from Superboy,
Okay.
the show, and that's done by somebody else, Kevin Kiner, I think.
That's who's doing this one too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So it 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 was cool that he used it on here.
Yeah. And that was some of the idea that they were going to do with the Justice League travesty was they were just going to bring back old themes for people, which somebody at DC was, or somebody at Warner Brothers was really down with, if you've seen Black Adam, but it is not the James Gunn way, we don't think. So, what are we going to do? We're going to do another one, but we're just going to lead into it, or do we want to make? Well, we'll just lead into it, and they can just queue
Right.
up. Yeah.
We'll let them queue up and we'll queue up and
All right.
all right. So we're gonna weave into episode 2 here. This is Hawk and Dove, which, you know, yeah.
Oh, I bet Hawks. I'm gonna guess that the guy who plays Hawk isn't very good.
Ah,
Hmm,
I would say he's
okay.
decent. You
Okay.
know, I mean, he has to listen. A lot of his scenes are with uh who's that? Minka Kelly,
Oh,
who's
that's
a
right.
gorgeous woman. I'm sure she's a sweet person, but I'll actually say she's not bad on this.
Okay.
You know,
Was she on Almost Human? Was that? Did you watch Almost Human, the Carl Urban one with Michael Ealy? You should check that out when you have a
probably
chance.
watched
It's only
half an
like,
episode of that.
yeah, it's like 13 episodes, and in order, I'm
Mm,
sure it works a lot better. But that was pretty fun. I think that might be her on that. It also might not be because there's somebody else who sounds like that. There's another Minka somebody, right? Like anyway, not that all women named Minka are the same and can't act. Uh,
but I'll admit she's not bad on here.
okay.
But once Connor Leslie comes on, she kind of regresses a little.
Okay.
Connor Leslie plays Donna Troy, aka Wonder Girl, and
Okay. That's right. She eventually does show up. So
yeah, she's one of the MVPs to me.
we haven't really been talking about this, but because it doesn't it doesn't it doesn't matter, but it does matter in that DC fans' expectations of things are very specific to the team. You know, there is a subsection of DC fans who were mad that Titans did not have the original team from
Right.
1983. But then there were also the ones who were mad that it didn't have the original team from 1968. But then there were the ones that also were mad that it didn't have the original team from 1977 or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
so like this is the big thing with DC fans that like I don't know. I don't. I mean, it doesn't, creatively and artistically matter. But there is something to be said that this does not seem to be a problem with Marvel fans. Like the small subset of people who are like, well, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch have to be in the second one because they were members of the second team, blah, 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 blah. Like,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, there was that.
There was that Avengers team where it was just
Yeah.
Cap, Hawkeye,
And that, right?
and those two, yeah, and
And maybe Ant-Man or some shit. But
right,
it's
Ant Man
just
or the
like,
Wasp, yeah,
and since the Marvel movies sort of didn't have the ability to follow that thing that like restrictively, and because they had a much broader appeal, and I mean that's kind of the thing with DC is that like the Batman movies have a really broad appeal. The Aquaman movie had a broad appeal. It had a broad appeal because Jason Momoa is a hunk. That's why Aquaman was a hit. It was not a hit because it was any good. It was terrible.
No,
And it
yeah,
had objectively terrible special effects, as is often the case with a Warner Brothers movie.
when you see a person use a great white shark and ride on his back like a horse or some shit, yeah, you got to kind of call it a day.
Yeah, so it's just this. It's there's just this really weird division between Marvel and DC fans that has not made things easy for live action DC movies. And it seems like the problem is with DC fans, with DC editorial, and with Warner Brothers executives. Like, they could have been doing this shit since 1990, and they didn't, right? Like,
Nope.
they didn't. They didn't do
And
movies. They weren't willing to pay for movies. They made CBS pay for a TV show, right? Like, they DC was not willing to put its money where its mouth was with anything but Batman until the year 2006 or something. Like, I mean, if we count Catwoman as a Batman spinoff, like, they were not willing to pony up for anything for quite a while.
no,
Whereas with Marvel, it was just a matter of figuring out getting the property to somebody who would pony up, really. And that's what Disney has done. They've possibly broken the market, but whatever. Okay, are we ready to go?
yeah.
All right, here we go. Hawk and Dove, starring no one is Don Hall. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Play.
All right, we're back to the.
Yep, nice quick intro here. Oh, here's our music. This is like the DC Universe logo was just the silliest thing from them because Marvel, of course, used real clips of their actors.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They were trying to challenge Marvel with that stupid logo
And
where you
Marvel's
could
just like,
barely see half the heroes in it.
and you're
Shit,
just like, okay, are those people ever going to be in anything? No. Like,
absolutely not. If you don't have a fucking bat cowl on, you can forget about it.
I wish they'd done the Red Robin outfit though, once again.
Oh no, not the cowl.
No, not the full cowl,
Yeah.
just the fucking 70s grown up Dick Grayson, like the Crisis grown up Dick Grayson. I just like that
Oh,
one
that
better.
one would be cool.
Yeah.
That one would have been cool. Okay, now here
Okay.
we're establishing Hawk and Dove.
Now, Hawk and Dove were Teen Titans in what, the 70s?
70s. Yeah. And they were kind of they were sort of off and on
Yeah, because wasn't like,
because they had their own shit going, right? Yeah, they had their own like backup stories, maybe, and I think they
right.
did have their own book. But since they were teen heroes too, they were
They
kind of trying to tie them into the Titans, which eventually there was a brief West Coast Titans.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, they were a part of it along with Beast Boy actually, and God, who else was on it? Golden Eagle and Lilith, and they made up the West Coast Titans very briefly. Oh, and I think Flamebird, who was back then the original Batgirl,
Right.
and I really didn't even know the '80s was when she became Flamebird. That she was invalid as the original Batgirl.
I think that's in a Who's Who.
Yeah, it is. They put it at the end of one of um the Titans Who's Who annual.
Okay. I think I remember that. Yeah. Okay. So now in the comics, the Dove boy, the brother of Hawk,
Mm-hmm.
dies. Is he murdered or does he just
No, he's
die?
killed in the crisis.
Okay. And then post crisis, he gets this girl sidekick.
Yeah, who assumes? See, in the comics, Hawk and Dove are they have superpowers. They're mystically,
Yeah.
connected. In this, they're just vigilantes. They're regular
Okay.
people. So they kind of bring them down to the level of like Robin to a
Okay.
degree. Yeah, what's his face is good in this.
Okay.
This Jack Reacher dude, what you
Because
call him?
in the comics, Dove or Hawk sort of Hawk needs a dove because
Yeah, in order
otherwise the
to lose
magic
it.
isn't there. Yeah.
They're
But
they're the what do you call them? They're the disciples of chaos and order.
yes. Oh, Superman. Are they a couple in this? Or are they
Right. Yeah.
okay? Night better wig on her than on what's her well, not that great of one, but better than on Sherilyn Fenn. Yeah, I can't tell if that's the same chick who was on Almost Human.
She was known for Friday Night Lights, I think. One of those
Oh, one of
shows.
those. Yeah. I like that we're staying out of all of the DC specific cities, which is interesting.
Yeah,
But they all
again, they
exist.
build up to those. Yeah,
Okay.
they'll build up to them
What's
because I
this?
think somewhere along the way they responded to the fans and they were like, "Why does it have to be so real? Why,
Hmm.
So they made it a little more, I guess you could say, comic booky, making more references and shit.
Well, now it is a Greg Berlanti production. He's the dude who does the CW stuff. And he did all that, right? Like the CW stuff is very comic booky. It is very referential,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
and then this and Doom Patrol are sort of, and Swamp Thing for that matter, other than some of the casting, is not like there are not a lot of big winks. Like
Uh-uh.
it's very much this is a Netflix streaming show. It just is.
Right, because a lot of the gratuitous shit, as you noticed so far, is really unnecessary. So they seem like they have to push it just for the sake of it being on
Mm.
a streaming platform, whatever.
Oh, come on. We don't have to watch them bump and grind, do we?
Well, we have to see
Okay.
this.
Oh.
He's yeah, he's losing the
Oh,
touch here.
is he going to become a fucking time tyrant and take over the universe because of this?
That actually would have been kind of crazy to watch. Which also, yes, happened in the comics, folks. Which was the last minute decision, or they switched it, right?
Yep. Yep, it was going to be Captain Atom, and it got spoiled, and so they made it Hawk, and that
Even
like
though
screwed up all sorts of plans.
I'm not exactly sure how popular the actual main book for Armageddon 2001 was. It was the annuals that were actually
Yeah,
fun.
because the annuals were basically DC What If, which they hadn't
Right.
done.
Yeah.
Um, the best you ever got was Elseworlds, and that's not the same thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Now we're going back here to the days of yore with the Titans, and as you can see, they're a three-man band because they haven't introduced the other ones yet.
okay, that's just weird.
Yeah.
Also, her costume is the stupidest superhero outfit I've ever seen. Like, why isn't somebody grabbing onto her fucking feathers?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hawks is kind of cool though. Like I like his costume. They are pretty comic accurate
they
without
are pretty
being.
comic accurate with that. Yeah. Well, that wasn't nice. Wait, did she have the hots for Robin? What?
Well, back in the during a certain point of
Oh,
time, they
okay. When he was like really young and
there we go.
okay, who's the girl? Is that Barbara Gordon? Or is
No,
that
that's Donna.
oh, okay, but Donna's not on the show yet, so
No,
I
she's
wouldn't
not
know
in
that.
there. Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, show. Um yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think Doom Patrol does that. I think Doom Patrol just introduces everybody. But yeah, this whole thing of like, we're going to take the whole season to introduce our regular cast, that's a very, like, either people are going to be okay with that or they're going to be really upset about it. Because it just seems like you're pacing it out so you don't have to fucking. It seems like you're dragging it out. It's some fucking, what is it, decompressed storytelling.
Yeah.
Though this is more Earth One Titans than Ultimate Titans, I'd say, or whatever the fuck. Getting our DC brands, the ludicrous DC branding, because they just could not get their shit together and it all fell apart.
And it's not. Yeah, it's just this show just sort of it really dragged this first season.
Well, and I think some of it, and this was with Doom Patrol 2, is I think they were trying to like proof of concept during the first season. And the kind of problem with that is that like th- that's a lot to ask of people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, and we know this actually, that DC like makes people wouldn't let people use characters, makes people wait for characters, things like that. Like, I don't know, Zack Snyder shared the original footage of Green Lantern for the end of Justice League, and then DC wouldn't let him have the use Green Lantern because they were going to use them in something else. Like it took until Shazam to acknowledge that you could just have a Superman stand in some ways. And now that's all they do. Is fucking long distance CGI stand-ins and Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
But
unless you could get Jason Momoa.
oh, and Ben Affleck is apparently willing to do just about anything. Uh except something cool like a fucking Batman movie where J Lo's Catwoman, like obviously it's sitting right there. But moving on. Um oh,
God, I hope that never happens. Jesus.
oh, we don't get to see Alex or Alfred. Oh, they're watching Game of Thrones. Wow, how fucking
Mm-hmm.
huh? We're HBO adjacent, huh?
Yeah, I never would have known what the hell that was.
That was Game of Thrones.
Other than, yeah,
Yeah,
other than what you call it, the big dude.
yeah. I want some milk duds. What's it? Milk duds, Fritos? That ain't bad. Okay, so is she gonna touch the Robin briefcase and see his future?
But he left one open.
What's in there? Oh, it's his fucking laptop.
Laptop.
Wow, nerd. Like, oh yeah, it's got to survive a nuclear blast.
Mm. I mean, I can understand why they won't do the original Raven origin, but
Hmm.
it's so much better than her being this regular kid who just happens to be the daughter of.
Right. And that's like she's little Nikki or whatever, like, or no.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's Damien,
Yep.
sort of, but also not, because that's not the omen, whatever.
Like
She's
budget wise,
Rosemary's
I
Baby
get it.
grows up. Yeah. Oh, are we watching videos of Robin in action? Oh no, we're watching the Flying Graysons shot.
Mm.
Aww, what just happened? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He got a fax.
Mm.
Oh,
Look at what you did.
damn. That's a little weird. That does have some Omen vibes. Like, is this an Omen
Yeah, it's very
crossover?
much
Like,
Omen Exorcist-ish.
hey, she was looking at my porn. That was weird. So there was a Teen Titans or something before we're gonna find out.
Yeah, there was a Titans team.
Okay.
But again, this is one of those shows that kind of makes up shit as it goes along.
Okay.
So initially we see there's four Titans, right? But then next season we'll see that there's another member of the group,
Okay.
um, Aqualad. And yeah. And guess who this is?
Um.
This is a really big nod to the 80s. Remember the nuclear family?
I guess not.
Yeah, they have a who's who. They were, I think, actually, I want to say they were Doom Patrol villains.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the nuclear family, which is kind of a deep cut.
Are they science villains or do they have actual superpowers?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
See.
This week on Teen Titans Go, the gang shoots up Venom. Oh, could they even call it Venom? What did they
I
call
think
it
they
in
can.
Dark Knight Rises? Because the Venom's in that, right?
I don't. He doesn't use
Basically,
it,
he doesn't use it.
does he?
Okay. Oh.
I don't think he uses it.
Mm.
No, he's just freakishly strong and
Okay.
needs to breathe his, keep his
Right.
breathing apparatus running.
No, he uses it in the Batman, doesn't he? Isn't that a subplot in?
He almost, yeah,
Okay.
but I don't think it has a name in that.
Okay.
God, I haven't seen that in a minute either. But it's alluded to.
Okay.
I can't remember if they actually name it.
So this is your Wolverine rogue mountain whatever assassin girl's name is on Game of Thrones. It's your wiser mentor protector dude who's a little older or older. The
Mhm.
surrogate brother slash father figure.
So they go to Washington D.C., which is actually Hawk and Dove's stomping ground
Mm-hmm.
in the comics.
You're not as hot since you turned 21. This is weird.
Oh, see, they had a thing.
Yeah. Oh, he was he was 16, honey. This is weird. This is inappropriate. What does she see when she shakes Hank's hand though? Is it something funny like he's just taking a monster shit? Like
Finds out Hank's a minute man. Hank's the tiger for 20 seconds.
So they don't know. Do they know at this point that Jason Todd's going to be on the show?
uh, no, Jason Todd just shows up in his episode pretty
Okay.
much. I don't think yeah, because it's a shock to Dick when Jason shows up.
Okay.
He doesn't even know that Robin's been replaced yet.
Safe. Oh, Is that the guy who plays Reacher?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's our daughter. She grew up really fast because of our magic.
He was also Aquaman on Smallville,
Oh shit. Okay.
even though they weren't going to use him for the Aquaman show, which,
You want to talk about some weird fucking DC inability to launch shit? Smallville and spin-offs would be a wonderful
but I don't even think they were even planning to have that Aquaman show be like spun off. Like it was supposed
nope,
to
it
be
was
its
supposed to
own
be
thing.
yep. It was supposed to be its own thing because DC Comics, Warner Brothers, baby. Nobody wants to see a crossover between two superheroes. Nobody.
So in the comics, Hank Hall has never been as tormented as this version. So I got to give it to dude for
Yeah, I mean, he
in
was
this sort of burnout version of Hank.
right because in the comics he never like got that far. Right, like he came
No,
back with her. I think they had a mini series, right? Did they even have a mini
no,
series?
there was a mini series, and then there was like the regular series.
Shit, was there a regular series?
Yeah, because Armageddon 2001 ended all that shit. I think it ended before, or it had a. Yeah, I think it might have had an annual, and then sometime around there is when their series got canceled.
Okay, but
Then they brought another Hawk and Dove in, which ugh, were like they were in a band or some shit, and the girl was Hawk and the guy was Dove.
it got relaunched. It was, I think, when it got relaunched for New 52, it was the Rob Liefeld book. It's just like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, then for a while it was they got rid of Hank because he, as Monarch, I guess, died, and suddenly Dawn had a sister, and she became Hawk for a while. And then it switched back because Hank came back during Blackest Night, I think.
Hmm.
They couldn't bring Don back, which was the coolest shit because the Black Ring went to his grave and it said he's resting in peace. It flew away.
um, yeah, he was a little bit of a dick in the comics, but
Oh,
he was,
dude, Hawk was MAGA before MAGA was a
yeah,
thing, man. Like
yeah, and
after,
yeah.
yeah, after Dove died, there's issues of Titans where like Hawk literally, because there was that period of time where there wasn't a Dove. So
Hmm.
Hawk by himself was like a fucking psycho.
Yeah, it was very much the oh wow, that was Ditko Movers.
That whisper talking thing she
Hmm.
does. This is what I'm saying. She kind of fits the part. Like this is probably the best I've ever seen her in anything. Minka Kelly. She just can't help but look the way she does.
Right.
Like maybe if she sort of, toned down the glam a little, played a regular chick that wasn't supposed to be hot. they'd never explain the white hair though.
Was that? I mean, that in the comic was that part of?
Well, in the
Did
comic,
she change? Didn't
right? In the comic, she just had regular blonde hair when she was Dawn, and then the white hair came when she became Dove. Here, she just has the white hair all the damn time.
she just really likes Game of Thrones? They cut multiple scenes of her and Raven talking about watching Game of Thrones on HBO. Oh, duh. I was whisper talking to him. And then
Uh-oh. Leave my girl alone, man.
oh, your powers are going to be useful during an episode. That's good. That dude is lucky nobody tried to make him play He-Man.
You think?
I think.
He's
I
not
don't.
bad, though. Like
Yeah,
I say,
but
I
he's
know I keep
lucky.
saying that, but
He's lucky because I mean, yeah, people really like him on Reacher, and like,
he would be a pretty good Punisher, too.
yeah. Oh, okay. So now we're checking in on.
Right.
Uh-oh. Who's she got living in her fucking corner? Oh no, it's the nuclear daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Person who's broken into my house.
Oh,
Oh, oh my god.
yeah.
This is a little intense for
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, they have a pretty interesting background. I remember reading their entry and Who's Who. Yeah, I want to say that they were Doom Patrol villains.
Well, and we'll find that this is like so this came on before Doom Patrol.
Yeah, this sort of seeged into.
Yeah, and we sort and they there was sort of the implication that Doom Patrol would have a backdoor pilot on this, but then it sort of didn't. Like it's some of the same actors, but
Right.
it's even on a different Earth we learn in Crisis on Infinite Earths Arrowverse. But Doom Patrol then did the same thing with Dead Boy Detectives that didn't go to
Hmm.
series. They made a big show out of setting up a spinoff,
Yeah.
commissioned a pilot, and completely got rid of the existing cast. And so, because it's fucking DC, and this is just how they do it. Put on the cape, Dick. Put on the cape. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell's hacky enough at this point that they wouldn't have even gone to him for a cameo in this, right?
Nah. Besides, he's a cop. He's a cop on what is it?
NCIS
Yeah, one of
San
those.
Diego or some shit. With is he on the LL Cool J one?
Yeah, he's on the LL Cool J one.
Jesus Christ.
'Cause that's the one I think my mom watches.
Oh my god. If you, dear listener, want to buy us a bunch of fucking liquor and food, we'll watch that, but only with a lot of liquor and food, because that sounds like a trip through the 90s I don't want to take.
Right? Who would have thought Chris O'Donnell would have, stayed steadily working somewhere that wasn't like Walmart? All right, so Hawk and Dove are on a bust
At Ditko Movers. Oh,
because they're still, crime fighting there in Washington D.C.
yep. Maybe Robin should have helped them if they can just get fucking shot and be done with it. So it
Well,
was a
that was it.
trap.
There was a there was a conflict of interest here between Robin and Hawk and Dove there.
Mm, probably not, because Robin
There you
just
go.
cut his dick off. Wow, Robin's fucking.
Yeah, he's harsh.
Now, is this implying this is how Batman acts in this universe?
I would guess, but then again, like it contradicts the episode where Jason Todd is introduced because, but then again, they justify it because Jason starts beating the shit out of cops. But of course, again, Jason has an excuse for that. So
I mean, they were
it's all
fucking
over the place.
cops, so it's. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a good reason, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's all over the place. Cause Dick tries to give him a lecture about, hey man, hey bro, what's your problem? you know?
They really also need to do like that level of viciousness in the first episode, not like in the second episode. Like that's a lot more effective than fuck Batman.
I hate that they kind of, as the show goes, it gets toned down, sort of.
Is that just money? What's going on? I don't know. Some old guy named Alfred Pennyworth just sends Dick Grayson cash. It's weird. Come on. Show us the letter or move on.
Right. Money.
Well, also, it's like, maybe if Hawk had been a little rougher, they wouldn't have had the problem. Just saying.
Yeah, but he's inadequate now.
Mm. Maybe if Dove hadn't had those silly feathers on, she would have had some more speed.
And it does some more acrobatics.
What are you pouting about, kid? Oh,
Mm.
he was going to dump her with Hawk and Dove. That's a really good, mature sign there, Dick.
Yeah, Dick sort of in these first couple of seasons really lives up to his name because he doesn't. He's a decent guy, but he's just not likable, I guess. This is probably the closest to Batman any iteration of Dick Grayson, became,
Mm.
even though the whole time he's saying he's not Bruce. Which is why, again, the Jason Todd episode is so good. Uh-oh.
Okay, do we actually get the fight scene or do we get the cliffhanger?
Oh no. We get a fight scene, all right.
Okay. Maybe she should fucking save them with her exorcist.
They should do that. Here comes some fucked up shit. Damn.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did Dick go?
He got tossed off over the side too.
Okay. Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. See.
Okay.
Hank was also Raphael in the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies.
Like the voice?
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
voice and the mocap.
Oh, okay. They did do mocap. Okay. Wow. We can't afford Minka Kelly for 2 episodes, y'all. Or 3. This wig was really expensive. We can't afford to have
With
it washed. Did
sliding
you
it
just see
back.
her hair? Did you see her hair?
Yeah, her hair's
Her
sticking out
hair.
from under there.
Yep. Haven't you got some kind of like Robin resuscitator, bro? Like a uh-oh. That's ominous.
And would you believe that was the last episode of Titans?
Well, we're done, folks. We'll be back next week with our next season. All right. Well, so interesting. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it kicks off, man.
But we are getting the this sort of new standard where we're getting 2 pilots instead of one, right? Like we get the first setup and then they do the actual.
Well, it seems like with shows like this, they sort of make it that the entire first season is almost like a pilot.
Yeah. And that's like this and that's why people get so mad at fucking Netflix because then they cancel them after the first season.
Right. Like this would have been great, but you bastards fucking canceled it.
Yeah. Oh, there they are. I'll have to look up the.
Look them up.
I'll look them
I
up.
think they even their who's who even has a nifty Jim Aparo
Ooh,
art.
Jim Aparo
Yeah,
era. Okay, definitely. I forget that Jim Aparo didn't he do Doom Patrol for a bit?
pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, we will be back. I think we'll just do a couple.
Yeah, two at a time is
Two
fine.
at a time's a fine, and that'll get us when we hit the end of the season. That way, we can immediately take care of the season finale and season premiere because
Mm-hmm.
we got an odd number season this first season. So we'll be back.
Right.
Yeah, because something happened. If we were really good, we could look up the production trivia, but I don't think we're going to be really good. But something definitely happened. I think it's AT&T's fault. But yeah, so we will be back next week with Titans 1.3 and 1.4.
Yeah. 3 and 4.
Check out 709meridian.tumblr.com, or the QR code works, and I don't know what the hell's going to be over there, but something will. But cool.
Yeah. Titans, an almost great show that was sort of, I don't know, brought down by crummy writing.
And that is Jeff Johns. Sorry, was that out loud? And that is actually what does sort of save Doom Patrol is when the writing gets good, it stays good. So, yep. But at least Stephen Amell's not going to be in this, so we aren't going to be watching any of that.
No, thank goodness.